MovieWeb.com.
Can you talk about the various political aspects involved in bringing this to the...
Sure. The difficulty is I know that the way they're presenting it, that they don't want certain facts about the story known, like they want to leave them as a surprise for the audience. So it makes it a difficult movie to talk about in that regard, because the reason that the film was finished and released to an audience publicly is something that I'm not supposed to talk about because of, because they're trying not to spoil the surprise for viewers who haven't seen the film, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like the key motivating issue in the movie is something that happens during, the last, third, if you will. So, have you seen the film?
Yes, I have.
Okay, yeah. So, you know what I'm talking about. But,
well, I do, because I didn't know anything about the film. Guy in New York, the Moish, I don't know if you know him.
We just talked on the phone. Yeah.
He sent it to us and didn't say anything. He was like, "This is a great movie. You got to sit down and watch it." And he almost made it sound like it was a comedy. And all I saw was the title Dear Zachary, and I put it in, and then by the end, I'm just like,
oh, wow.
What did he just do to us, So I can understand kind of, but it's also kind of weird, since it's a true story, to hide facts from the audience. That's the dividing line between
I've been kind of on the fence about that. I know it's like it's being promoted as, you don't know where it's going and that sort of thing. But it's weird to look at the events of your own life and your friend's life as like from a twist, like it's a story twist or something, you know what I mean? Because it's just the facts of your life, So, but if I can say that, the reason I released the movie publicly, because originally when I started making it, it was not for, it wasn't for general release.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about.
It was originally, I'm a filmmaker by trade. I'd already made a feature documentary that had been on PBS and stuff too. But this particular project, I simply started as a memory album for friends and family who knew Andrew and, who would, just as something for us all to have. And it was also kind of a good excuse for me to go traveling around the country and, the world really, and meet all of these various people in Andrew's life that I always heard about and was always hoping to get to meet someday, and then realizing now that he's not living anymore, there's not going to be a wedding someday, there's not going to be any other future event at which all these people are going to come together aside from the funeral. And there were he had 5 different funerals in different parts of the world, so there were making this movie originally was honestly an excuse for me to get to go to these places and meet these people and kind of feel like I was visiting them one last time, because if I just show up on my own and be like, hey, I just want to meet everybody, people might think I'm weird, but because I'm interviewing them and putting together a memory album for everybody, they're like, oh, okay, I understand why he's coming. So the whole thing was really my grieving process and having an excuse to go visit all these places. And also I wanted the film to be given to recipients of scholarship funds that were established in Andrew's memory. There's one established at the hospital where he was working when he was killed in Latrobe, Pennsylvania, and there's another one at his medical school in St. John's, Newfoundland, where he at Memorial University, where he attended medical school there. And so I intended for the recipients of those scholarship funds to get copies of this movie so they would understand the history behind the scholarship they're receiving and who it is that's paying for their education and how it came to be. Because that was something that happened to me when I was in school. I won a scholarship for editing at USC, and the scholarship was presented as the Harold Lloyd Scholarship in Film Editing. The family of Harold Lloyd had a representative who came out, gave me a documentary about him, and I started learning a lot more about him and his history and what he meant to silent film and how the award came to be, and it meant so much more to me to understand the history of what they were sort of making me a part of, if you will. So I wanted this movie to do the same thing for people receiving those funds. And now that the movie's been released publicly, all the proceeds from my share of the movie's receipts are going to the scholarship funds. I'm not making anything off it personally myself. So that was what it was originally intended for. And then when the events as they are depicted in the movie unfolded, what happened was so appalling that it became clear that it was kind of my responsibility to speak out and try to get laws changed to prevent what happened from happening again, because there's no reason it should have happened. So the movie basically exists now publicly because I'm trying to get bail law changed in Canada.